What's up, guys? How's it going? Just wanted to give a little update on some of the things I've been messing around with and flying and whatnot. First thing that we will start off with is some of the details about the 5-inch I've been flying. A lot of people have been asking about it. This is just a fluoride with 5-inch variant of the fluoride with the high KV motors on it. We're running 4S even with high KV variant motors. It didn't work out too good with an AIO board, so I switched it out. So we're running a Maytech F722 Mini. We've got a Mamba ESC that's only 4S, but we're only running 4S on this, so it's fine. We've got Unify Pro 5-volt version. This antenna right here I've just been kind of testing out. It's actually been pretty good. I wanted to try it because it was only 15 bucks from True RC. It's actually worked pretty good. I made it out over 4 kilometers on this antenna at 800 milliwatts. So that's pretty astounding. Uh, Everything about this is pretty standard other than the motors. It's just a normal quad setup, really. This is TBS M8 2. Yeah, everything else about it's pretty standard, though. Let's talk about this 1S. We've got a couple things we've been messing around with the 1S lately. I've got a new flight controller that I've been trying out from JTMCU. This flight controller has actually impressed me. So this thing's only $26. That's what I've got inside of here right now. At least it is at the time. The layout is a little awkward, as you can see. It's got the UARTs all over the place, but it doesn't matter really, to be honest. If it works, it works, and it does work. I have tried out the beepers and whatnot since the lightweight versions of beepers, GPSs, and everything have came out. Been pretty stoked about that. This beeper has been working pretty good. This is the Lucky Box beeper from FPV Cycle. This is the tiny GPS from Nameless that they have on FPV Cycle as well. This beeper has a little bit of issues turning off, but it always beeps. So it works fine, but I think because I'm running it on 1S, it has a little bit of issues being fully charged to function properly and actually turn off when you hold this button down. But it works, and it works pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with it. I've actually long ranged this little tiny dude a couple times, and I would have definitely have never got it back without that on there. So this thing would have been gone, even though it's really ugly, and it probably, should be, but oh well. Let's go on to this GPS right here, and it actually is incredibly tiny and incredibly lightweight, and it shows up in my tabs and everything shows up fine, but I haven't been able to get it to connect to any satellites. I'm not sure if it's just such a tiny receiver on there that or antenna on there that it just can't receive any satellites. But I've tried it on several different flight controllers, and I back checked it by putting a TBS M8 on those flight controllers. The flight controllers work with a different GPS. This GPS actually connects and it shows up and everything, but it doesn't catch any satellites. So I might have received one that was dead on arrival. I'm not sure. Still trying to figure that out. Hopefully, Nameless will respond to me. But main thing is this JHEMCU board, $26, working fantastic. I've actually done a couple full throttle punches on it and just held it till it was completely dead. I've been going really, really hard on just flying around acro to crash as much as I can and just really abuse it and see what happens to it. And so far, this thing's just been living through it. And as you can see, I've stolen some parts from other quads and stuff and just kind of threw this thing together. It's ugly as hell. Apologize my ugly build, but I've just been testing it out just to test it, and it's working great. It's really fun, actually. I'm loving it. I would highly suggest this over a simulator for practicing and getting better at flying any day. I'm not 100% sure about these new versions of the Mini Mortal T's. I've successfully gotten 1 kilometer out of this setup right here, and I was actually fail-safing at 1 kilometer and somehow made it back, thankfully. And I've actually had the old Mini Mortal T's about a year ago or so go out over a mile. I've gone almost 2 miles with one of these before at 250 milliwatts on just your standard Tango 2. When I did 2 miles, I actually didn't have the diamond antenna on it. The diamond antenna does help a little bit actually. With this exact remote and with this exact quad, with this dinged up, ugly Immortal T on it, I've actually made it 4 kilometers out, just over. It was like 4.1 kilometers just recently, so it's a pretty good run. And I had 99% RSSI, of course, the whole way, even 4 kilometers out, only at 250 milliwatts with the V1 board. That's all I got. It's just the original. It's like one of the first batches or second batches that came out, so not much power going through it, but it suffices anyways with that diamond antenna. Pretty happy with that. I've just been running this really for everything over the past couple months. It's been like 5-6 months that I've just been running this quad. I had a lot of oscillation issues when I was running the props that are, it's like some Gym Fan 5.1 by 2.5 something or another props. I forget what they are, but they're really lightweight and they could spin on these motors just fine without getting them warm. But they had a lot of oscillation issues. I tried tuning it in every way I could. I couldn't get rid of it. It just had like a weird noise when it was flying. It didn't really show up in video or anything, but you could hear that it was losing a lot of efficiency because of the noise. I ended up just grabbing these props on the fly at a hobby shop because I needed some new props and I didn't want to wait for shipping because I wanted to fly that day. And I threw them on here kind of thinking it was going to get hot and overheat on me, the motors, and so I flew it around and kind of tested it out the first couple packs, and they stayed cool. These motors were actually room temperature when they came down, which was impressive because these props are just, you know, normal heavy props. They're HQ, what is this? 5 by, I don't know, let me look at this one. 5 by 4.33 V2S. Too many numbers and letters for my life, but that's what they are. There's no specific reason why I got them. Just like I said, I got them out of the blue just at a hobby shop that's local to me and threw them on here. They actually worked, and guess what? All the oscillations went away because they're a lot stiffer at the tip. So having that stiffness fixed whatever problems I was having. I'm guessing the tips were wobbling from the speed and everything. Having this on 4S, I even had the oscillations on 3S, so it was pretty bad. But these fixed it, so I'm looking forward to trying out a couple different props on this setup and seeing how they perform now that I know that these motors can handle heavier props with a lot higher pitch, because these actually have a higher pitch, they're heavier, all the things are working against these motors, and they're still cool. Not even warm. It's insane. So I've been loving it. This thing can do long range, it could do freestyle, it could do all the above. I've gotten 7, almost 8 minutes, probably about 8 minutes with an 1100 milliamp hour 4S battery that's just been beaten to hell and back, and I still can get 8 minutes out of it. It's just crushing it. I love that setup. Alright, well, that's all I got for you guys today, so I will just leave you with some pretty shots of me flying around the area. Hope you all have a good one. Like and subscribe if you guys like this kind of content and you want to hear more about ultralights, stuff from FPV Cycle, tiny 3 inches, and that sort of stuff. You all have a great one. Bye.
what I want, just how I like it. Throw me on the ground,